Italy is more than a country to us. After visiting nearly 100 different towns and villages from the tip of the boot to the Alpine north, we realized something. Most people visit Italy and leave feeling like they missed the real magic. They stand in line, follow the crowds, and never realize that the breathtaking soul of the Mediterranean is hiding right in front of them. We are taking you on a 30-minute cinematic journey through the 10 most life-changing destinations in Italy. We'll show you exactly how to get there, the hidden landmarks you can't miss, and the food that will ruin you for life. And I have a massive surprise for you. Stick around to the very end, because we're unlocking a bonus 11th destination that is so epic. It demanded its own mini-series. Let's start with a town that redefined view for us. You cannot talk about the Italian Riviera without mentioning the Cinque Terre. And for us, Manarola is the soul of those 5 villages. After visiting all 5, this is the one we keep coming back to. Located in Liguria, you reach it by the Genoa-La Spezia rail line. It's tiny. Only about 350 people live here year-round, but it feels like a grand stage. Founded in the 1300s, its name likely comes from Magna Rota, referring to the massive mill wheel you can still find in town. Here, you can wander the silent stone alleys to the Church of St. Luca, and you eat rustic bread drenched in locally pressed olive oil. It is raw, organic, and beautifully quiet. Manarola is an accidental masterpiece, built organically by peasants over centuries. But what happens when a powerful pope decides to build a city from absolute scratch? To find out, we have to drive north to the rolling hills of Tuscany. An hour south of Siena, this town of 2,000 people was designed in 1459 by Pope Pius II to be the ideal city. We've driven through dozens of Tuscan villages, but this town, Pienza, is the one that feels like a movie set. If you walk out of the secret gate behind the cathedral and follow the stone path along the walls, you'll reach the Via del Castello. From here, you're looking directly at the rolling hills where the ending of the movie Gladiator was filmed. It is the quintessential Tuscan view you've seen on every postcard. It's the only place in Italy where the architecture feels as poetic as the landscape. It's quiet, refined, and smells constantly of aging wood and sheep's milk cheese. You'll find Pienza in the heart of the Val d'Orcia, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in southern Tuscany. This is a driver's destination. There are no train stations in Pienza. We recommend renting a car in Florence. The roads leading here are arguably the most beautiful driving roads in the world. It's a boutique city, and the historical center is so compact. You can walk from one gate to the other in less than 20 minutes. Everything radiates from the center of the old town, known as Piazza Pius II. The floor of the cathedral is actually cracking because the Pope insisted on building it on the very edge of a cliff to ensure the best views. You cannot leave Pienza without eating pecorino di Pienza. Pienza is the peak of Renaissance logic and symmetry. But for our next stop, we are heading south to a town that looks like it was built by elves in a fairy tale. Walking into Alberobello for the first time felt like stepping into a fantasy novel. There is nothing else like it in the world. We've seen photos of this place for years, but nothing prepares you for the sheer scale of it. There is a strange, quiet hum here. The stone absorbs the sound. After visiting nearly 100 towns, we can honestly say this is the most un-Italian-looking place in Italy. Yet it's deeply rooted in the survival spirit of the South. Alberobello is located in the Valle d'Itria, in the heart of the Puglia region. It's an easy 1-hour drive or a scenic local train ride from the coastal city of Bari. If you're driving, the journey is spectacular. You'll pass through ancient olive groves with trees that are over 1,000 years old. It's a bustling UNESCO World Heritage Site with a population of about 10,000. The most fascinating thing about these Trulli houses is why they exist. Back in the 14th century, the local count wanted to avoid paying property taxes to the King of Naples. His solution? He forced the peasants to build their homes out of dry stone. No mortar or cement allowed. Alberobello is humble, rustic, and built from the very dust of the southern earth. But for our next destination, we are leaving the peasant architecture behind and heading to the absolute pinnacle of European high society. After exploring nearly 100 towns, we've learned that some places are famous for a reason. Bellagio isn't just a town. It's an atmosphere. Here, the air feels cooler, the light looks softer, and there's an undeniable sense of old-world luxury that you just don't find anywhere else. It's the kind of place where you instinctively slow down, put your phone away, and just breathe in the mountain air. It's the pearl of the lake for a reason. It's polished, it's rare, and it's absolutely breathtaking. Bellagio has been a retreat for the world's elite since the Roman Empire. The town is built on a steep hill. You must walk the Salita Cervelloni, the most photographed stone staircase in the world, lined with high-end boutiques selling the famous Como silk. It's an exclusive enclave with roughly 3,800 permanent residents. Despite its world-class reputation, the historic center remains remarkably intimate and walkable. Bellagio is strategically positioned at the very tip of the Larian Triangle, right where Lake Como branches into its famous Y shape in the Lombardy region. We highly recommend you to join a lake tour. Hop onto a ferry to Varenna, another amazing town on the Lake Como. Pulling into the Bellagio docks is one of the most cinematic arrivals in all of Italy. Here, you have to try the risotto col pesce persico. Pair it with a crisp white wine from the nearby Terre Lariane vineyards. Bellagio is about the calm, still waters of the north, a place of quiet luxury and alpine breezes. But for our next destination, we are leaving the calm behind. Polignano is the shining star of the Puglia region, sitting on the rugged eastern coastline of Italy. This place feels alive. There's a raw, electric energy here that hits you. The moment you hear the waves crashing into the sea caves beneath your feet. We spent an entire afternoon just sitting on the rocks, watching local kids dive into the turquoise water, while music drifted down from the balconies above. It's a town that celebrates the sun, the sea, and the thrill of living on the edge. Literally. Polignano is incredibly accessible. It's just a 30-minute train ride south from the city of Bari. If you're driving, the coastal highway offers some of the most dramatic sea views in the country. This is the birthplace of Domenico Modugno, the man who wrote Volare. When you walk these streets, you realize the song wasn't just a hit. It was a description of the feeling you get standing on these cliffs. Visit Lama Monachile. This is the iconic beach between the cliffs. It's a narrow inlet of white pebbles and emerald water framed by a massive Roman bridge. It is, without a doubt, one of the most photographed spots in all of Europe. As you wander the narrow, whitewashed streets, look down at the ground and on the doors. Food-wise, start with a panino di mare. It's a gourmet octopus or tuna sandwich from a local street food stall. Polignano is about the energy of the sea and building high on top of the limestone. But for our next destination, we're heading inland to a place that took a completely different approach to the rock. Out of the nearly 100 towns we've explored, Matera is the one that left us speechless. It doesn't feel like you're in Italy. Instead, it feels like you've stepped onto a biblical film set or another planet. There's a weight to the air here, a sense of time that is almost overwhelming. It is, without question, the most atmospheric place we have ever filmed. Matera is the crown jewel of the Basilicata region, tucked away in the rugged arch of Italy's boot. There are no high-speed trains here. The best way is to fly into Bari and take a 1-hour drive. It's a journey that feels like a pilgrimage into the heart of the ancient world. Matera's story is one of the most dramatic in human history. It is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, dating back over 9,000 years. But it hasn't always been celebrated. In the 1950s, it was called the Shame of Italy because of the extreme poverty and disease within the caves. The government forcibly evacuated the residents, leaving it a ghost town for decades. It wasn't until the 1980s that artists and visionaries returned to restore it, transforming it into a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a European capital of culture. It is the ultimate story of resurrection. Matera is heavy, ancient, and made of solid, unmoving earth. But for our next destination, we are leaving the canyon behind for a place defined by light, salt air, and a shimmering blue horizon. We're trading the stone silence of the caves for the high glamour, sun-soaked cliffs of the most famous island in the Mediterranean. There are no cars allowed for visitors on most of the island. You take a high-speed ferry or hydrofoil from Naples or Sorrento. The ride is about 45 minutes of pure cinematic beauty. You haven't truly seen the glamour of Italy until you've set foot on Capri. A lot of people dismiss it as a tourist trap, but after spending time here, we've realized the secret. You have to look further up. Capri has been a symbol of status for 2 millennia. It's a rugged, mountainous island with 2 main towns. Capri, the glamorous lower hub, and Anacapri, the quieter, higher village. While the day trippers crowd the harbor, we headed to the heights of Anacapri, where the air is scented with wild lemon and jasmine. It's an island of extremes. 1 minute you're in a designer boutique that feels like Milan. The next you're on a rugged cliffside path that feels like the edge of the world. It's called the Island of Light for a reason. The way the sun hits the limestone here is unlike anywhere else on Earth. You visit Capri to feel like you're part of a legend. It is the ultimate Mediterranean dream, an island that manages to be both a luxury fortress and a wild, natural masterpiece at the same time. Capri is a vast, vertical island of light and legacy. But for our next destination, we're heading back to the mainland, to a place that feels like Capri's long-lost, more intimate cousin. In Italy, we found that many places try to be exclusive, but Portofino just is. There's a quiet, confident luxury here that we haven't found anywhere else in Italy. You can walk the entire harbor of Portofino in 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes feel like a movie. Portofino is tucked away on a small peninsula in the Liguria region, along the legendary Italian Riviera. Our favorite way to arrive is by the scenic ferry from Santa Margherita, Liguria. It's a 15-minute ride that gives you the best perspective of the harbor's big reveal. This is one of the smallest towns on our list. The permanent year-round population is under 400 people, which is why it feels like such a private, protected sanctuary. Follow the signs up the hill to the 16th century fortress, known as Castelobrown. Then, visit the Church of St. Giorgio. It is perched on a cliffside. This yellow church houses relics brought back by sailors from the Crusades. Stop at this hidden cove known as Baia Cannone. It's a secret slice of paradise with turquoise water and a handful of peach-colored houses. And don't forget the Pienza. This is the heart of the town, the world-famous waterfront square, where the elite gather for an aperitivo. Portofino is a perfect, quiet miniature town. But for our next destination, we are leaving the quiet harbor behind for a city that has spent 2,000 years, screaming its greatness to the world. You don't just visit Rome, you submit to it. It's loud, it's chaotic, and it's unapologetically grand. Every time we walk these streets, we feel like we're walking through a giant, open-air 4K museum. We've spent a week here, and yet, every time we turn a corner, we find a 2,000-year-old column or a Renaissance fountain we've never seen before. It is the only city in the world that manages to feel like a modern metropolis and an ancient ruin at the exact same time. It's called the Eternal City because it never ends. Not its history, and certainly not its beauty. Rome is the beating heart of the Lazio region and the central hub of all Italy. You need to visit the Colosseum, Roman Forum, the Pantheon, the Trevi Fountain, and of course, Vatican City. There's so much to see here that we have made a 5 episodes mini-series just about this amazing city. And the link is in the description below. Rome is famous for its 4 legendary pastas and for the street food. Rome wasn't built in a day, and its layers prove it. For centuries, it was the center of the known world, the seat of the Roman Empire that shaped Western civilization. Rome is the muscle, the power, and the roar of the empire. It is a city of stone and strength. But for our number 1 spot, we are heading north to a city that trades power for poetry. If Rome is the body of Italy, our final destination is the soul. It is the city that redefined what it means to be human and turned beauty into a religion. After visiting nearly 100 towns and villages across this incredible peninsula, we kept coming back to one question. Where do we feel most at home? The answer was always Florence. For us, Florence isn't just a destination. It's the heartbeat of our travels. It's the city that trades Rome's chaotic roar for a refined, poetic whisper. It is the capital of the Tuscany region, sitting in a valley surrounded by olive-covered hills. It's an incredibly dense, walkable city of about 380,000 people. And you don't need a car, a bus, or even the metro here. Your own 2 feet are the best way to uncover its secrets. Florence is an open-air museum, but these are the spots that still take our breath away every time. And you cannot visit Florence without sharing a Florentine steak. You visit Florence because it's a reminder of what humans are capable of at our best. Florence is our crown jewel. But as we promised at the start, there is one more destination. A bonus that is so spectacular. It couldn't be limited to just one town. It's a whole region of vertical beauty. Let's head south for the grand finale. We've shown you our top 10, from the cave cities of the south to the Renaissance heart of the north. But after visiting nearly 100 locations in Italy, we realized there is one place so iconic, so visually overwhelming, that it's impossible to pick just one town. Welcome to our bonus number 11, the Amalfi Coast. This isn't just a destination. It's a 50-kilometer stretch of coastline in the Campania region that defies the laws of physics and engineering. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where the mountains literally fall into the sea. When people say Amalfi, they're often talking about a collection of distinct vertical gems. Because this region is so dense with beauty and complex logistics, like navigating that terrifyingly narrow coastal road, we've decided it deserves more than just a mention. We are launching a dedicated Amalfi Coast series right here on the channel, where we deep dive into the top 5 Amalfi towns. We know we've covered a lot of ground today. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't worry. Whether you want to know the secret train routes to Manarola, the best steakhouse in Florence, or the hidden caves of Matera, we've got you covered. Every single town mentioned in this 30-minute guide, including all the towns on the Amalfi Coast, has its own dedicated long-form video. We put the links to all those deep dives in the description below, so you can start planning your own Italian journey right now. Italy has a way of staying with you. After 100 towns, these are the 10 that we keep dreaming about. But travel is personal. Maybe your number 1 is a tiny village we haven't even found yet. Do we get the order right? Is Florence your number 1? Or does your heart belong to the cliffs of Polignano? Let us know in the comments. We respond to as many as we can.